everybody. I'm Christine Barr, and this is Today Over Tea, where we have real conversations about things that matter. I'm a dancer, businesswoman, traveler, and host. And today, we're creating an open-minded space with hopes of spreading awareness and education through similar experiences. I'm going to introduce you to some of the most passionate and knowledgeable people in my life. 2020 is the time to own who you are, reach your highest potential, and just love your life. Because let's face it, we're all going through something, but it's time to evolve as a society. We need to spread more kindness and love for each other and this planet. So let's start the conversation. This is so exciting. You guys, happy quarantine. Is that a thing?
I mean,
Can we make it a thing?
We can be happy in our element, in our moment with each other and celebrate each other.
I feel like we're enjoying quarantine.
Yeah.
This is the reset button. We need it.
Yeah. I'm having fun. I think it's all about the energy that you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
Right? If you are in an environment where you're constantly worrying about something that's not in your control, you're going to be in that feeling and you won't be able to advance. You know what I mean? So.
Totally. Guys, we are back. Today over tea.
Tea time.
Woo! This is Tony. He is amazing. He's from LA. We are in Vegas right now, as you can see.
Ooh la la.
This is our makeshift Vegas inside.
Yes, I love it.
And he came to visit after being quarantined. You were quarantined for a month in LA.
Yeah, a month and a half.
And we were all just like, what are we all doing? Let's get together and do some stuff, yeah?
I mean, we've been having, the Olympics here?
Oh my gosh, we've had everything. We
played basketball,
That's it.
foosball, darts,
That's it.
then some gin rummy, right?
Right?
The
Card
mental
games at
health,
night.
you know, get this together.
That's it. We've been dancing on the counters, having parties.
Yeah, TikToks.
TikToks.
I learned how to hoverboard. Is that what it is?
That's right.
It's
You
a
were
hoverboard.
killing it, by the way.
It was fun.
I couldn't believe Alex took you outside.
Yeah.
That was nerve-wracking for me, but you killed it.
Yeah.
He learned how to hoverboard. We watched Alex on Westworld. I mean,
so proud of him.
You know, quarantine's been fun for
and
us.
look at God, I got picked up for season 4.
That's right. Congrats, Westworld. Look at God. So basically what we want to do right now is, this is a special Today Over Tea edition that we kind of just decided to do on a whim because we were having, again, great conversations off camera. I was like, we need to put this on camera. And I think the biggest thing right now is that people, if they're not already understanding that this is the time to have these types of conversations, guess what? Knock, knock, knock on your door.
The time is
it's
now.
time.
Yeah.
It's time. So you can go back and watch our other 10 episodes, but this one in particular, we want to talk about kind of how life was, the rat race that was before quarantine, and how we were all just trying to kind of keep up with the Joneses and thrive in a survivor mode.
Yeah.
And then now, what quarantine looks like for a lot of different people, and then what we think what the world's going to be like after quarantine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's just where all of our heads are right now. We can't think about all the other things that we have no control over.
No control.
You know?
I think, just to reflect on how the time was prior to this, I think we were always chasing something, the curve. What's the new thing? How can I be better at what I'm currently doing instead of maybe expressing yourself in a different way? Right. And I think right now we have equity for everyone because we're all at a standstill trying to figure out how do we advance.
Right. You were saying it's leveling the playing field for everybody.
Yeah. And so I think there's just going to be a shift in industries. I think we're at a time in our existence where we're being super creative at home in our own element around the energy that we choose to be around.
That's it.
It's a choice. We don't have to wake up and go to our respective jobs, right?
Right. The memes going around are like, we feel like we're watching Quarantine's Got Talent, right?
Pretty much.
Everyone's becoming a chef. Everyone's, learning how to dance and all that stuff. And I'm loving it because I'm thinking, I feel like this is an opportunity right now where people are finally feeling like they can express themselves and do things they never thought they would do because they were going to be judged or ridiculed or, they had fear of, I'm not going to do it right. I'm not going to cook the right lasagna, whatever. Yeah. And now they're like, listen, We all got to eat.
Exactly.
We all got to keep each other
Yeah.
entertained. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And now they're realizing, oh, I'm not that bad at it.
Right. Or just expand upon something that you loved in the past that you just don't have, or you didn't have the time to do it.
Right.
Because you were constantly on the go, go, go. Right. So
Totally.
now you have this moment to sit and reflect on, well, I actually enjoy cooking, you know?
Right,
and I
right,
didn't
right.
have the time to do that.
Totally.
Or I enjoyed doing this, like playing the piano. So you can go back to rehearsing. And
Yep.
you find, you fall back in love with a passion of yours. And
Or just the list.
Yeah.
I mean, my friend, and I told her, I said, if I don't get my list done of the things I was going to do,
Yeah.
then I'm taking it off the list. It ain't going to happen. Because this is the time now.
100%.
Like, we have it, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
So I know there are some people that are still going through the motions of experiencing this quarantine. And because as a whole, as a country, we didn't shut down right away.
Right, that's the hard part.
We weren't all at the same phase, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
LA was different from New York. And,
totally.
Nevada was different from Florida. And so we were
And
just...
meanwhile, we're watching the rest of the world too, because there's a lot of people that are just young millennials that are traveling.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, they're already shut down. What are we going to be behind? Are we going to be able to go there?
Right.
How does that affect our future?
100%. So I think a lot of it was just very fear-based. But once you, got out of the conditioning habit of your life and
That's it
moved
right
into
there.
this other space where you could really just express yourself more freely, it really allows you to really just dive right into loving yourself more. Right? Pour into yourself
And isn't
more.
that the ultimate?
100%. 100%.
Self-actualization right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like what you said there about just the conditioning that we have, because I've been hearing some people and seeing posts and stuff and how they're so scared of, we're never going to go back to normal.
Yeah.
And I think, what is normal? And
It's relative.
it is. And what you were talking about, we were talking about the rat race and just, surviving to try to thrive and all these things. Like,
I'm glad that we got an opportunity to take a pause,
Right.
stop moving around so much and creating the friction that we're doing, and have this self-reflection time so that we can find out how to work in our own best interest with our frequency and our vibration
Right.
across the globe. And I think that's where we're headed to, a place where we're not taking from the earth and not replenishing.
right.
We it's all shared. Nothing is taking.
Absolutely.
Because when we leave, we can't take any of this with us. Okay? So I think that once we understand that, I think the concept of greed becomes diminished.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, why am I hoarding? Why why do I need this much money?
Right.
What am I proving to anyone but
Totally.
myself? I'm proving that I can have $100 billion. Congratulations.
Okay, great.
You
You
have
did
it.
it.
Okay. So what are you
Right.
doing to enhance our capability as a species?
Right.
What are you doing?
Because
to
even
help?
even their lifestyle is not $100 billion worth
Yeah,
of
yeah,
a lifestyle. No
yeah.
one would have that kind of lifestyle. That's
Yeah.
a small country.
Yeah.
So
And
you know what I mean?
It's a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot of resources going to a small percentage of people. So
Right.
it gives us an opportunity to look at the people that don't have, and say, how do we provide equity?
That's it.
That's the moment. That's
That's
the moment
it.
we're in. So that's where I believe we're
Yeah.
going. That's the future, because we realize it's no longer sustainable to
That's the biggest
live
thing
this way.
is sustainability. Because I was already seeing that in my own life about 6 to 8 months ago, before all of this was even a thought, and I was hitting a wall. So it's almost like I do feel like energetically that I was sensing this was coming without knowing what it was. And so the sustainability of what I was doing and the lifestyle I was living, it was fun for, many, many years, and we got to travel to so many places. But after a certain point, I was like, you know what is it, the long term? I'm not talking about going back to school, working a 9 to 5, being more rooted. I'm saying there are so many areas I can go into.
Yeah.
But what does that mean to have a more sustainable life, not only financially, but also for my peace of mind? I think that's the biggest thing, is people are always thinking, how am I going to make the money for this? How am I going to do that? And it's like, but if you are happy and you are peaceful and you are living in a state of understanding who you are and self-love, those things are going to naturally gravitate towards you. That's just basic law of attraction.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many times that can be said. Is it's basic law of attraction. If you are in a great vibrating state of life, those things are going to be attracted to you.
You know what? Cheers to finding your sacred place.
Seriously.
Look at God.
Look at God. But seriously, those things come to you. And I know that place is very hard to find because so many people, they can't push out society. They can't push out media and all of these things and their job and their kids and all this stuff. But it's like the reward of getting there is so grand that isn't it worth at least working towards that, even if it's in increments.
Yeah, that's the journey. I really do believe that that's our journey. It's an individual journey to be shared with the world.
Right. And so the idea is don't go back to, we don't want normal to come back.
Yeah.
That's just fight or flight mode at this point. We are trying to get to, thank you, John Amaral, we're trying to get to a place of flow.
Yes, let it flow.
Let it flow. And we encourage you to work on yourself now so that when we get to that place where we're kind of trying to go back to the normal it was before, don't let yourself get caught into that societal expectation of what it was and be like, no, I've changed. Yeah. I've evolved. And I know that lifestyle was not facilitating my peace.
Yeah. Drops the mic.
I mean, seriously.
Essentially, you are responsible for creating your peace. So no matter what your circumstance is, financial, your health, physical health, where you live, right?
Right.
You have to provide that peace for you. When I was younger, I suffered from terrible asthmatic spells. Like, I would literally go into these asthma attacks that would just send me out, or they would have to call the paramedics to come and pick me up. And I would have to have treatments. My grandmother used to practice martial arts, and she taught me how to meditate. And she told me to curl up in a ball and count backwards from 10. And while I'm counting, really practice on my breathing, clear my mind, focus on what that intention is. Set the intention, right? So the intention is to be able to breathe. I have to breathe. I can't worry about the fact that I can't breathe. I just have to will myself to breathe. That's an intention. And that's reflection, and that is actually meditation. Right. But you have to clear your mind of all your worries. We talked the other day, you can either worry or pray, right? That's it. I have to pick one. That's it. And so in that moment, I chose to pray. And prayer is a form of meditation. So
absolutely.
That's really where you should be. If you can get there, and I know that everyone can get there because it's possible. People always are conditioned, right? Right. Conditioned to go to work. Routine to to practice something, dance, music. Your routine is to cook dinner every day to support your physical health. So you need to make sure that you are maintaining your mental health by clearing your mind and finding a safe place for you at home, in the park, wherever you can be, wherever you're quarantined, right? And just reflect on the things that you are setting an intention for. Absolutely. So if it's clarity, discernment, whatever those things are, set the intention. Right, because we were saying before that we know that everyone is going through a different scenario. We're very blessed here that, you were quarantined in LA for about a month and a half, living in your own place, and then came here, and now you're here for a little bit, and we've got a really nice big space. We're not feeling like we're all on top of each other. We're doing all different things, but you've got healthcare workers and doctors who obviously are essential workers. They cannot be quarantined, and we thank them for what they're doing. And then you have people who are living in different levels of, trying to make sure they keep a roof over their kids' heads and all these different things. So we just want to make sure that you understand that, everyone has an opportunity in this time right now where the world is literally stopped. This is such an unforeseen circumstance that none of us ever thought we would ever see in our lifetime that now has almost been given us a chance to put a reset on life. Be like, what are we going to be and how are we going to move forward out of this? How often did you, have a conversation with somebody and they were like, I'm so tired? That's it.
I just
all
want
of
the
my
world to
friends-
stop.
oh,
I just
yeah.
want to not have to get up tomorrow and do my responsibilities and all these things. And yes, our responsibilities have shifted,
Yeah.
but they are so much less. And we have been basically given the gift of time. I mean,
100%.
that's
We've been given this
incredible.
opportunity
Yeah.
to, relax. You can't really relax if you're worried. So I understand that there are people that are going through things,
Right.
financial things, most importantly, because
That's hard.
there have been so many industries that have been affected and impacted by this. And
Small
can't-
businesses,
Yeah.
that's the hard thing, 'cause some of them won't survive this. Yeah.
right. And they can't offer you the type of financial support they could. So there are other resources out there that will kind of help you, but some of those are being depleted too. At the same time, try to work. A big piece of advice I got when I was younger was I was always looking to reach ahead or forward or up instead of reaching across to my resources. So instead of thinking grand, right? Like, oh, I'm needing for the government to do this to give to me so that it will help enhance my life or protect my life or secure the balance of what I, was conditioned to know.
Sure.
Look at all of your resources around you, your friends, your family, your colleagues, and build with them. Build
Right.
with them. Even though you're not right next to them, even though you're not in the same room,
That's it.
we have all of these tools set up for us.
Oh, totally.
All
Can
of
you
them.
imagine, like we were talking, a lot of people are going back to like the Spanish flu and all these plagues and things that we didn't have the connection that we have to be connected through music and online and Zoom and all of these things that we really have no excuse.
Right.
Like if you're not taking a free, everyone's doing free classes now. If you're not taking a free online, workout class, meditation, whatever it may be, then, and let me back up a little bit because I don't want to put pressure on people because I feel like there is some stuff going around saying, no one is telling you have to be productive in this time. That's not what we're saying. We feel comfortable being productive in this time.
Yeah.
And that is what has helped us stay motivated because even like Alex a couple days ago was like, he was just feeling really tired.
Yeah.
And he had gotten good sleep. So he's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And we just hadn't done a lot of physical things. Like he hadn't done workouts for a couple days and we hadn't been really creating that much. And so for him, it drains him.
Yeah.
And same thing for most of us. But some people, they are always going. And to be creative takes a lot more energy. So for them, they need to relax.
Yeah.
And they need to not be taking an online class or whatever.
Yeah. Part of that relaxation is going to come in the form of your meditation.
Yeah.
And so you literally, I understand that there is a lot of worry and there's a lot of fear. But if you move and set your intention based upon fear, then the outcome of that will not be beneficial to you because you will only be absorbing that type of energy. So I'm in no way, shape, or form, expressing to anyone that they need to be that way. We're not doing that.
No.
Yeah.
That's just what works for us
Exactly.
because we're so used to this, like we're used to doing 10 times this and
100.
traveling and doing all that.
Yeah.
So for us, we're trying to find the things in the house that can help keep us motivated throughout the day. And that helps our bodies to feel, excited. If we're sitting on the couch all day long watching Netflix,
It's not validating.
our
It's not
body is not going to
self-fulfilling.
love that at all, So do what's best for you and figure out what it is that you're lacking in your life because maybe for you it is just the peace and the calm and the quiet and just getting your kid to do 1 + 1 that day. I mean,
And there's growth in that too.
There's so much growth in that.
that peace and that solace. You need to, another piece of advice, work in your own best interest. So if you are reflecting on the things that you're setting the intention for what you want in the future, and you're working towards that, it could be little incremental steps.
Right.
So maybe you're somebody that does suffer from anxiety, even before, the COVID experience that we're in right now.
I was going to say, I think a lot of people were feeling that before.
Right.
And this has, maybe enhanced it.
Yeah.
But I think what we're trying to tell you is that use this opportunity not to enhance it because you have no control. I'm a control freak who's wanting to plan things and we don't know when we're getting out of here. So that's giving me anxiety. But then I'm like, you know what? Yeah. This is an opportunity to take that anxiety I had before and just slowly get rid of it through meditation and breathing and all of these things and not feeling like what is going to happen after this.
Right.
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have been given the tools in life, or like you said, the resources around me of the people, that once we're done here, then we'll be able to reach out to those people and resources and figure out what the next step is in that moment.
I love that.
And does it need to be planned right away?
No.
I
don't think that it needs to be planned. I think the only thing that you need to do that could be a plan is self-awareness and reflecting on where you're at right now.
Yeah.
Because you can't possibly be who you are in this very moment and who you're going to be at the same time. So a part of that doing the work is, okay, I'm feeling anxious. Who, what, where, why, right? We were talking about this yesterday.
We were?
Like, why am I feeling anxious?
Yep.
You know, what am I doing to, either be productive, or what am I doing that is counterproductive and adding to the value of me feeling this way? Absolutely. And then the most important is the who you are. Like, who am I? Who am I becoming? Okay.
Who do I want to become?
Who do I want to become?
Because I think that's the thing, is I think people think that they're like predetermined to become a certain thing because of this or my upbringing. I mean, all of the greats, I mean, speaking of a great that we just lost, Kobe, those people have always told you, don't let your past circumstance dictate your future circumstance. And by understanding who you are and what you have to work with, what are your skills, what do you bring, what's your equity?
Look at God.
Look at God. What is your equity to bring to the world? And then how do I take that and multiply it and make it valuable to other people, valuable to myself? I think a lot of things I'm learning right now is self-love, which is so funny because I think so many people think that, oh, she's confident, she loves herself. I do love myself. I've loved myself for a long time. But, now I've been in a relationship for 3.5 years and I've been putting so much love into another person. I've been kind of stripped of a few things that I've known in my past that kind of identified me. So now I'm learning how to love the new version of myself. And all of that, you kind of go ebbs and flows, and you find that some days you wake up and there's not a lot of self-love, and that's okay. Yeah,
I think that bleeds right into what you were saying. Who am I becoming, or who do I want to become? I think we have this such a grand outlook on life in general because it's what's been fed to us. Let's just be honest. Through television and film, it's our conditioning. So most of the time we think, oh, who am I becoming? I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a world champion in this, or I want to be... But what if you're just wanting to be a better parent? Or I want to be a better lover. I want to be someone who loves me more and pours more love into me so that I can be open to receiving more.
Right.
Because if I'm closed off, if I'm not loving me, that means I'm closing off somewhere. So you can pour into whoever you want. But when you stop, catering to yourself, like they tell you, like when you're in the airplane. Oh my God, I was literally about to say, like, that's the metaphor I use all the time. Brilliant. It's the perfect.
It's so
you got to put on your mask first.
Before you put on someone else.
Hello.
I mean, if that doesn't resonate with people on a life level, I don't know what will. Yeah, totally. So this is your way of putting on your mask first, is by loving yourself.
Yeah, pouring into me.
That's it. And then that way, that's going to, because people are attracted to people who love. And so if you're loving yourself and taking care of yourself, and that's going to glow, that's going to resonate, and people are going to be attracted to that. Your lover is going to be a lot more attracted to you. Your best friend, your brother or sister, your parents, all of that, because now you're going to be doing things out of love. Yeah. And then that's when I honestly feel is when the alignment starts, and these conversations, they start to happen naturally.
Yeah, 100%.
Because this is the kind of stuff that just ends up pouring out of you. Yeah. And then that brings on different reactions from people, and that's just a beautiful thing.
So through this pandemic, and through what could be considered a tragedy for many people who have lost people or who have been affected by something like this, we have equity.
That's right.
We have a moment to restore the love for ourselves, to pour back into ourselves, to pour back into our communities, into our families, into all of our loved ones. So I hope that you all take this opportunity to take advantage of that, and to reflect more on setting an intention that's positive, loving, and kind, and use discernment. Trust your gut. and have fun.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think people
fun.
need to realize that with all the little like adjustments we've come to doing quarantine life, and then what it's going to be after, which we'll get into, then they're thinking there's no time to enjoy.
Yeah.
I love seeing all these people on TikTok, even like parents and stuff, because I'm thinking, good. I hope that this was your 5-10 minutes a day or whatever it is that you got to just let go and let loose, and have a good time.
Yeah.
So switching gears into life after quarantine.
Oof.
Because let me tell you, we ain't on the other side of it. We don't know either.
Yeah.
We just, we're hopeful.
Yeah.
We are, we're listening, but I do have to say, like, the news doesn't run through this house at all.
Yeah.
Like, we see what needs to be seen, and socials hit a couple times, but we're not deep into it.
Yeah, I think it's very repetitive, the information that I receive. There's strong rhetoric that's being forced into the media.
Sure.
And so that's why I say discernment is something that I wish for, and it's something that I set my intention for in the morning. When I'm grateful when I wake up in the morning, and when I set my intention for discernment, so that I can, you're always going to be bombarded with information. We're constantly being stimulated.
And I think it's going to get worse after quarantine, honestly. Because I think all of the businesses are then going to pump out their marketing campaigns and how to get back on their feet. Yeah. And you're just going to get so much thrown at you.
Yeah. I mean,
but
we're constantly inundated.
Totally.
So that's where it goes back to self-reflection, finding your peace.
That's it.
So as we move into what this looks like, I see a redistribution of wealth. I think there's going to be different services that are provided, health services, ways that people were, because it's so fear-based right now because of COVID, I think we're going to see health become such an important part of everything that we do in every industry. Checking in to make sure that our temperature is what it needs to be, or that we are vaccinated, or a host of things will happen, procedures and policies for you to travel the world and experience life.
Yes. And if you're looking for something also more holistic, because I think a lot of people are getting into that a lot more, which I'm really excited about. I'll link in the caption the video that I did with my stepmom about just kind of some of the supplements we take. And Tony got here and he's like, oh, let me show you what I take. And we were back and forth. So we're all very much, we attract that same people to us. We're all similar in that regard. But I think a lot of people don't know where to start with that. So we tried to do something 101, to give people an idea. But yes, I agree, keeping your mind healthy in this time so that you're basically building up your muscles, your mental muscles, to be like, when you get triggered, when we go back out into the world and something hits you and you're like, wait a minute, that's not what I programmed myself to do. And then you can be intentional in that moment to make a switch. I've already seen it with two people, my mom and my best friend. So my mom is a high school French teacher, so she's had to go from teaching in a classroom to now teaching online, and she's learning how to use Zoom, and she's doing all these things. And so, but she said, oh my gosh, I've never been so rested. I've never, she was taking care of her dad in a nursing home. Well, now she can't go see him, so they're taking care of him. So she's realizing now that she doesn't always have to be the superwoman she thought she had to be. And now when she gets out of this, she's going to learn how to say no more. And I'm like, and she told me that after like a week and a half of this. And I'm like, whoa.
Sounds like she poured some love back into herself.
You had a week and a half to reflect, and that's what you came out of. That's huge. And continuing to do the rat race she was doing, she never would have come to that conclusion on her own. And then my best friend was doing just traveling the world and grinding and working very hard for her money, but loving what she did. She's a dance coach, but at the same time, she has now poured so much time and effort into her socials, her YouTube channel, her online content, and she's like, I can do some of this from home and not have to run across the United States to go do my job now. So many people are seeing that, and they're like, that's life-changing for them, because because now she can pour more time into her personal life. Because before she didn't have that. It was all work. So
I think that if you think about energy and how it works, particles moving fast, right, and bouncing all around, it creates a lot of friction, which creates a lot of heat. It's a lot of energy. So in our, we keep referring back to the hamster wheel. Like we're always on the hamster wheel, the rat race, right? That's what we're doing. We're just bouncing around. All this energy is bouncing around, and it's causing so much friction and so much heat that eventually it goes like this. It needs a release.
That's it. So, here we go. Back to it, babe. Back to it. Look at God.
Look at God. Won't he do it?
I love you so much. I cannot.
Thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Are you kidding me?
This is amazing.
This is so fun. Guys, have these conversations. It is so rewarding and it is so therapeutic, not only for yourself, but the other person as well. So
don't forget to be kind to others.
Yes.
And most importantly, be kind to yourself. Pour that love back into you.
Yeah. Ooh, yes. Yay!
I love it!